PlayRadioNetwork.com. This is Rhonda White, your host of In the Raw. Remember, we are live streaming. Go check us out at dadsandfathers.tv. Hey, Susan B. Coleman. For those of you in the Dallas area, the Dallas County Race for a Cure is going to be held October the 15th of this year at the North Park Center. Connect here in Dallas and make sure you're part of it. If you're in Oklahoma City, the Central and Western Oklahoma City Race for a Cure is going to be held on October the 22nd at the Oklahoma City Civic Center. All right. So, we are back with our guest, Miss Anita Maxwell. I am so excited. I want to get into the good stuff now. We're going to talk about money. Okay. Money. Okay. So, all right. So I know we were talking earlier just about how you got in the whole financial space. And so share that story.
Well, it started, I was working in insurance before, health insurance, and I was in South Carolina. And on one side of that, I remember every month I would be cutting a check for about $600,000 to my agents who were selling our products. And I just remember thinking, man, I'm on the wrong side of this equation. I mean, they pay me well, but every month I've gotten this. And I just remember watching some of the people and thinking, their customers always call me. They don't do anything for this money. So there was one piece of that. So just kind of put a pin there. That always stayed at the back of my mind. But one day I received a phone call from a gentleman here in Dallas who said, your mom gave me your number. Now, you'd have to know my mom. She's the type that thinks her daughter can do anything. So somebody can say they want to crochet. Call my daughter. Call my daughter. And so it's not uncommon to have random people calling me up saying, your mom gave me your number. And so he said, well, your mom, I was trying to help your mom with her finances and talk to her about it. And she said, my baby handles that for me, so you're going to need to call her in South Carolina. So he called me up and said, so she won't talk to me. You need to talk to me. So I did, and I started. And thankfully, he was trying to help her with some things that I had been telling her for years, but I had no background in it. And we started working together, and it was all making sense. And I said, you know, while we're here, why don't you take a look at my investments and what I have going on? And he started to share just some basic information with me, basic concepts that I know were not secrets, but no one tells us. And I think about all the things we learned in school. I don't care what degree you have. I have people in business with me who work at banks and they don't know the stuff we teach because it's not in the curriculum for the most part. We teach algebra, we teach calculus. I can tell you, Rhonda, I have not used the Pythagorean theorem one time. I have not. But nobody ever said, here's what you do. We're told to go to school, get a good job, get an education, then get a good job. And I don't know how many of us actually know what a good job is anymore. I don't think it exists. So nobody says, but once you've done that and you're working hard for whatever job it is, the money's in your hand, now what do you do with it? And so for me, it wasn't long that I connected that my passion has always been to help people get it, to help that light bulb go off. Even when I was in health insurance, I spent the first year and a half of starting a health insurance company, and my job was to go door to door, to churches, to youth group, to different community groups, to Big Mama's house, anybody that would let me tell them. I learned the Affordable Care Act, reading the law, educating people on what that meant prior to it happening. How does this impact you? What does this fancy word really mean? And what you need to do. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with the politics or not, it's the law. It's going to impact you one way or the other. So that's something that often we won't seek out for ourselves. We'll watch TV, we'll listen to the rhetoric, we don't really know what's true or false. So I got to go to individuals and educate them on that. But that's always been the common thread in everything I've done, and it wasn't necessarily tied to a job. I love bringing it down to a place where people can process it for wherever they are. So that's what I get to do now in finances. I get to talk to people in everyday language. Where are you? Where do you want to go? Let me show you how to get there using basic financial principles.
All right, so let's talk about some of those basic financial principles and concepts. So, and I know, okay, so first of all, I have to date myself. So,
19?
No, long time, that went long time ago. So I'm at the end of the baby boomers.
Okay.
Okay. And so growing up in a household back east where we didn't talk about money. No one told us about, we were told about, get an education, get that good job, get the watch when you retire.
Yes,
Who
yes.
cares? I really have my time and flexibility, actually. But no one told us about putting up for retirement. No one told us about saving for emergencies or for this or even our own care when we get older. And I don't know if it's because no one thought about this, that as we age, our economy does too. And things change. And that bread that used to be a quarter is going to be $5 to purchase. So are we really prepared for that? And that Social Security, we don't talk about that because I get very passionate about Social Security and just how our mature adults are living off so little,
Yes.
and it's supposed to be okay. So let's talk about some basic concepts, just where you are, because I actually went and saw a financial advisor probably about 6 years ago, and for me to catch up to the trend of, how our government work. Okay, so I was like, so I would have to make how much money a year, and I need to put, in order just to live and put that up? It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible unless someone's going to drop a pot of gold down on me or something, right? So how do we prepare ourselves? Let's start with the baby boomers first, and we're going to work our way backwards.
Okay. Well, I do have a lot of clients who are baby boomers. They're 50s, 60s, nearing that time where they're ready to retire, if they haven't already. And the reason I say ready to retire is because we're waiting longer to retire. Yes. It's no longer about reaching an age. We cannot financially afford to retire. So when I sit down with those clients, I have two sets of clients. One is I've been on a job for a long time, which is still valuable and important to a baby boomer, and I have amassed a certain amount of money in a 401k or some sort of program. Now what do I do? And many of them don't even think about that. So one of the things I educate them on is you need to do something. On average, companies invest pretty conservatively. So while 401ks are a good deal, I tell anyone, if your company matches 401k, you're leaving money on the table if you're not participating up to the match.
Right.
So if you've done that, just know that your money has not been growing very aggressive even over 40 years. Mm-hmm. So let's make sure, that baby boomer, now they're about to retire. I don't want to be aggressive now. You should have been aggressive earlier, right? So my focus with them is, let's show you how to protect that. Preserve that money you have grown. Because what happens is, I've got a 62-year-old potential client who has a few $100,000 in a 401k, but she's still engaged in the stock market. And while the stock market is the absolute best way to grow money in this country over time legally, it is also potentially a loss there for you. So when you're a baby boomer, you don't have a lot of time for loss and recovery. Mm-hmm. So then I'm talking to them about products that help protect what they do have. And I've got some products that are guarantees, no loss, they're still growing, and they can live off the interest. Or if Social Security and something else is enough for them to sustain themselves, that money's just sitting there growing with no guarantee of loss. So that's the baby boomer who has some money. The one who doesn't have any money, unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot to do, except what I start doing is praying that they don't have a whole lot of debt. Because if you don't have a way of increasing your income, at least on a job, one of the fastest ways to increase your income is reducing your liabilities. So then I work on showing them how to get rid of the debt they may have, because that's like giving yourself a raise. If you're not paying out a lot of your money, then you keep more in your house. So then I take that focus with them.
That's a great point. But I do want to go back, because I wanted to interject here. I thought, don't be funny. But I was like, stock market illegally. I don't know if y'all caught that, but I caught that.
Legally.
I was like, okay. But anyway, okay, so getting back focused. But you know what? I like the point about the baby boomers who already have money, learning how to protect what they have. And that's so important, because a lot of times, out of lack of knowledge, we make the wrong decision. We invest in the wrong things because we listen to Aunt Betty over here tell us something, or our girlfriend who know nothing about, investing financially and we make wrong decisions. So thank you for sharing that. And then also reducing your liability. Whether you have money or not, I think that's so important is to, I don't know where, I don't know how we got in this debt thing. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And, yeah, but I mean, it's
yes.
a domino effect.
Yeah, it absolutely
It is such a
yes.
domino effect. And it's not just, I mean, it's personal, it's business, it's in our government. I'm like, can we stop this? But also, yeah, I love that, reducing your own liability. Give yourself a raise.
I was in a meeting this morning and we broke it down by 3 categories. And this just hit me because I think one of them is you, or maybe a couple of them. But it said there are 3 different categories. So poor people spend their money, and when I say poor, I'm meaning the figurative poor, meaning your thoughts. You haven't elevated your thinking about it. But poor people invest in, buy stuff. If you look around, everything is, ooh, it was on sale, I'll get it, whether you need it or not, it's stuff. But there's no value there. The middle class invests in liabilities. They spend their money on liabilities. That means anything that's taking money out of your pocket. A lot of people think, oh, I'll buy a home. And the fastest answer you'll get is a home is an asset. If you live in the home, it is taking money out of your pocket. That is, now if you have a rental property that's making you money, that's an asset. But your home is not an asset. And so we get the car. Anything with a note, that's what the middle class buys. I got a car. I have a boat. Yes. Yes, timeshare, investing in that. Wealthy people buy assets with their money. Everything is about getting something that's going to make me more money. So they are buying the rental property instead of just being okay with the house. So it's just interesting how we all tend to be, and we know those people, and that person might be in your seat.
I'm sitting here
who fall in those categories.
I think we need to ask ourselves a question. Are we the poor people? Are we the middle class? Or are we the wealthy? And then think about what's your next move to get to the wealthy.
Yes. Your next move should be speak with someone who knows it. I think what I see more than anything is that because we were not educated on it, we're all figuring it out at our own risk. And there are ways to do things smarter. Wealthy people pull each other aside and say, let me show you how this works. And why I'm so committed to what I do, and I do that, I offer my services complimentary to my clients, by the way. So why I'm so committed to that, though, is because no one says, here, let me show you how that works. Often, there are a lot of companies in this country that make a lot of money on us not being educated on money. If I'm the credit card company, I don't want you to understand how much money you're really paying me if you do this, this, and that. I'm the payday loan place, I'm popping up on every corner. If I'm the title loan place, that car dealership. I mean, there are basic concepts that I teach people. They start to look at money differently. They start to look at, wait, I just bought a house for $120 and I paid $320. I mean, so there are little things, and it's simple stuff, but there's no one, because of that, because you'd be cutting into their profits. They really don't need you to be that educated.
Yes.
And so it's my goal to say, if you help somebody change their finances, you change their life. Because finances control most of your thoughts during the day. How am I going to pay that? Oh, I got to put some gas in my car. I have to pay my bill. I have to buy some food. Everything deals with finances, and while it's not up there with, whatever your faith is, it is very important. And you not only change your life, but you can change the life of those people you're modeling in front of. Now, you might say, I'm not modeling in front of anybody. Absolutely,
yes, you are. Yes,
you may never talk to your children about money, but you talk to them every day about money. Every time you say, no, mommy can't be at your game because she's got to work. No, we can't go on vacation. Put that back. We can't afford that. Or they see you working 18, 20 hours a day or all the time, and things are still short and things are still tight. You are showing them how money works every day.
That is so absolutely true. And in saying that, just as a mother, I don't even know if I asked you had kids or not, but just as a mother, I can recall even with my kids, I did not use the word that we are broke in our house. I used the words that doesn't fit into our budget at this time. Because I didn't want my kids to have a complex that, oh, I could never have anything I really want. It wasn't about that. It was like, this doesn't fit in our budget at this time. And I'm going to tell you, my son is 34. He is still mad about this to this day. But he received some birthday money. He received $100 for a birthday or Christmas or something. And so I always try to encourage my kids to put a little bit in the bank, and then, you can do a little what you want to do with it. So he went to the mall. He was driving at the time, so he had only his vehicle. He went to the mall. He came back with this sweater that was gray and had one little blue stripe going across here. He said, Mom, he said, I got it on sale. Really? How much was it? $98. Take it back. He said, what? He said, it's a Tommy Hilfiger. I don't care who it is. Take it back. He said, it was on sale. You got $100 and you gave Tommy all of it. Take it back. We still have that conversation to this day, and he's 34, because it was really about just, okay, let's talk about how, because no one taught me. I learned through the hard way about money and credit cards and all of that. When my husband and I got divorced, I had $23,000 worth of credit card debt on my credit card. It just lost a huge chunk of income out of my household. What you gonna do? Because no one taught me about that. So I was just like, okay, so I had to learn. So at that time, I didn't know Anita Maxwell, y'all. So I took a Dave Ramsey course and I did the cash system for 2 years nonstop. No check, no credit card, just plain. If the cash wasn't in the envelope, we could not do it, just to get myself back on track. So yes, absolutely. So I know it's the top of the hour. We're in the middle of a great conversation. And so I definitely want to get back on this and talk about just us understanding about building wealth, us understanding about having those assets that are the good ones, the ones we should have, because it's not the new living room furniture, it's not the new car.
With the plastic still on it.
Thank you.
Still on.
Right. I know, you know me too.
Oh,
right.
We all, come on now. We all have had, you don't go in that room.
And you don't see
That
it.
and
What's
the
it for?
and the china.
Yes.
You don't.
Yes.
I still laugh at my mom because she's still holding on to china. And I'm like, Mom, that it's older than me.
Hold on, that china's kind of like holding on for the love of money, okay? So it's the top of the hour. It is 4 o'clock here, a little bit past 4 in Dallas. Of course, that means it's a little past 5 in New York City. Los Angeles, shout out to Los Angeles. It's a little past 2 o'clock. And then, of course, Tokyo, we're looking at you right past 6 in Lagos, right around 9. So we're going to go out with that, For the Love of Money by the OJs.